Gonna start our meeting. How's that sound? Gotta fix this. Right. Gonna start morning meeting with Artemis. Let's see if folks are gonna tune in. Oof, we're both looking pretty foggy, my friend. Good morning, everyone. We're just gonna give folks a little bit of time to tune in. Sorry we're looking bedraggled. It's raining very much outside. What do you think, Miss Artemis? We have a few folks tuning in. When you tune in, just let us know where you're tuning in from so I can make sure to say hi and welcome you and thank you for joining us on this very wet Friday. Miss. Hi, Sam. Hi, Caitlin. It's good to see you, ladies. We miss having you up here. Hi, Rebecca and Xander from Plymouth. Hi, Carolyn. Nice to see you, folks. We have quite a few people rolling in, so we're going to sort of kick off our morning meeting. Again, sorry for us looking a little bedraggled. It's raining like crazy outside, so I had to go outside to go get her. Danielle, we're located in Cape Nettic, Maine, which is a township of York. Hi, Sue from Elliott. Welcome. Welcome to Center for Wildlife's morning meeting. Danielle from Concord, welcome. Thank you for joining us. If you guys are tuning in, Finnegan and Cape Nettic, good morning, Finnegan. And good morning, Jessica from Wyndham. We have folks from all over. Hi, Dan from Elliott. And Jessica from Chicagoland. Artemis, she says hello. Hi, Carolyn. So welcome, everyone, for tuning in. We're here at the Center for Wildlife in Cape Nettic, Maine. We're doing our morning meeting with ambassadors. We've been so excited. Let's see, so cool. When stuff is all over, we will be there to see you guys. Oh, wonderful. And Chuck, welcome. Well, from Rhode Island. That's where my dad is. So hi, Rhode Island. So we're here at the Center for Wildlife in Cape Nettic, Maine. And we are, if you're not familiar with us, we are a wildlife medical facility as well as a conservation medicine. Actually, that's the way we prefer to call it, is conservation medicine. Hi, Brendan from Dover. Because it's more than just treating wildlife. It's really conservation. It's making sure that everything ties in together and that we're all connected. And so it's really great for us to be able to bring ambassadors like Artemis here to you. So not only do we treat over 2,500 wild animals every year, but we also, you can hear baby squirrels crying in the background. I just got off of baby squirrel duty and we're doing this, and then I'm going to go on to a couple calls and then back onto squirrel duty. So it's a busy time. We just got our first baby birds in. We have some baby cardinals that are our first baby birds. So if you go to our Facebook page, you can see pictures of them. Or actually, I think there was a video this morning of them getting some fluids. Danielle, yes, people are allowed to come and see the ambassador animals. Currently, because of COVID-19, we are closed to the public. But when all of this is over, we will have a wonderful place for you guys to come and visit. And it'll be magnificent. So our friend here today with us is Artemis. Artemis is a northern saw-whet owl. She's watching me instead of watching you. I'll see if I can turn her a little bit. And she is really a lovely little lady. She's going to try and get my finger probably if I do this. And she came to us, let's see, in 2016. Believe it or not, we got her after she had been hit by a car. So if you imagine a 4,000-pound car hitting, 90 grams, a lime, then, it's amazing that she even survived. Oh, hey, Rob. Rob says hi. Yeah. You miss Rob and Brewster. Hi, Brewster. Nice to see you guys. So she suffered a wing injury. She broke her wing, was treated down at Tufts Wildlife Clinic. Absolutely phenomenal facility. Unfortunately, when animals get hit by cars like that, they sometimes suffer multiple damage, not just a broken wing. So she suffered some soft tissue damage and had some issues with her flight feathers. And what that means is that some of these primaries in here did not grow back for her. And let's see, this right here is why they fly silently. Little Miss here does not fly silently and has actually has reduced flight. So she lives with us and will for the rest of her life. She is at least 6, I think. And we're hoping to have her at least for another, 3 or hopefully 4 years if we can push that. We did recently discover that she probably, if you think of owl's skull, their eyes are much larger than ours. So their eyes would look like this in our skull, right? Each one of our eyes would be the size of a grapefruit if we had eyes the size of a saw-whet or any owl. And so she sustained some damage in there, so she doesn't have a lot of sight right now. So we've changed out her enclosure, made it so that it's nice and safe for her. Oh, my friend. And she's an absolutely magnificent ambassador, but she will only be doing on-site programming because she gets nervous when we go to new places. And so when we accept our ambassador animals into our clinic, or our patients into our clinic, and then they're deemed non-releasable and may, turn into an ambassador, we have to look and think of, this is a long-term care. So we will have her for the rest of her life. And sometimes primary injuries become secondary injuries or things like that. And so what we've had to adjust with her is, we noticed that she wasn't flying around like she normally was. We noticed that she was acting like she couldn't see anything, still eats like a champ, coughs up her little pellet right on the little container. It's adorable. But when she gets overstimulated, new sounds, things like that, she exhibits signs of stress. So we've just minimized what happens with her. She stays on site, and she is happy and healthy and actually ready to eat already because she's been trying to bite my fingers. Let me scroll up here real quick just to get, Mark, thank you so much for donating. That is amazing. $20 is huge to us. It really is a magnificent gesture, and it makes a huge difference for us. We do this with no state or federal funding, and with the COVID-19 pandemic, we've been hit pretty hard. We've had to stop all of our in-person programming and things like that. So we are offering this meeting for you guys for free because we're all in it together and we all want to just keep going. But any donation anyone can make is super, super helpful. All you have to do is click right down there. Brendan, age 10, what is the big bug in the enclosure behind you? Oh, this enclosure right here, Brendan. This is actually, this guy right here is a spotted turtle, Percy. And he likes to be the center of attention. So we've discovered that when I do programming back here, he likes to be on camera. Usually I have a thing hanging in the background. It's that kind of Friday. It already fell twice. I'm not putting it back up again. So we'll just keep on keeping on, right? Let's see. Chuck Marsters, they are awesome creatures. Helen, thank you. Elise, good morning. Chuck, her weight is around 90 grams. So she weighs like, if you go into your pantry and take out like a small jar of spice or a small lime, that's about, if you put that in your hand, that's what she weighs. Remember that they have hollow bones, so that's kind of amazing. Lisa, yes, she is watching me like a hawk. She's probably looking to see when foods might be headed her way. Oh, wow. Welcome, Felice from Ellenwood, Georgia. Wow, who knew? Let's see. Nikki, I was wondering who was back there too. Oh, and Felice, you're welcome for these programs. Hello from Toledo, Ohio, Andrew. Oh, Lisa, did you like that shirt? Okay, so I don't know if you can see this shirt, but I wore this shirt on purpose because it's from one of our local businesses, Portsmouth Brewery. See, it's an owl. I can say it's apple juice if you don't want it to be beer. And what I wore it for was that it's almost life size. It's actually even a little bit smaller than her, or sorry, a little bit larger than her. So if I turn and see if I can get her on here, and you can get those shirts at the Portsmouth Brewery. I don't know if they offer them online, but definitely go check them out. And they do curbside delivery as well. Let me see if I can turn this and get little Mrs. face. So she can't really see me right now. And you can see her sort of looking away. Hi. And then I'm going to also turn this because I say I'm going to turn this, but let's see. There we go. Let me find Percy in here. Someone wanted to see him. Percy, you were poking around saying hi. You say hi? There you go. Oh, you're out of focus, my friend. Is that better? There we go. So that's Percy. That's who's in the background. Even though he has his own Facebook Lives, he likes to be the center of attention, which is pretty silly. Huh, little miss, little miss. Let's see. Lisa, she is so pretty. Amanda, thank you so much for your donation. That's incredible. I'm so glad someone noticed that shirt. I wear it just to make myself giggle, but it's so neat to be able to share that with other folks. So Little Miss, again, is a northern saw-whet owl. Hi, hi, hi. Yeah, I'm just going to turn you a little bit, okay? I don't have her on my glove right now, just for fun. She is the smallest owl that we have in this area. Sometimes people want to know why she's called a saw-whet owl. And she is named after her call. If we were to discover her now, we'd probably call her a car alarm owl. And that's because their call is sort of like a backup or a little car alarm. So it goes toot, 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 toot. And that's it. So there's no hooting or anything like that. These guys are cavity nesters. You can put up nest boxes to try and get them to nest in your yard. Not a lot is known about their migration pattern, which I love, because they're still really sort of, nobody really understands what's going on. They have found them, and this is fascinating. So this teeny tiny owl has been found offshore over 70 miles out on a fishing boat in the Atlantic Ocean. So what? Like, how does that happen? It just landed on a fishing boat. So more than likely, they do migrate in elevation, but not distance. But again, we don't know a lot about them, which is really exciting. So if you are a biologist or getting into biology, check out the northern saw-whet owl and see what they're doing. Chuck, what does she eat in the wild? These guys, it's really interesting. Straight carnivore, right? Straight meat eater. So she loves to eat deer mice are their favorite food. And one of the things that I think is so interesting is that a mouse, I mean a good mouse, could be, I don't know, half her size. Hi Charlie from South Portland. So if I hold up this teeny tiny foot, actually it's good if I can use I have fat fingers, but you can use it anyways. So this is how tiny the foot is, right? But this little foot snatches up those mice from the ground, and then her little beak, believe it or not, can shred that little mouse into teeny tiny pieces. They're wonderful parents. The babies are hysterical. They look like little angry, kind of cartoonish old men. They have a white unibrow. And they're just absolutely fascinating. So one thing I find really interesting about these guys is that when they have babies, the mom sits on the eggs and incubates. That's it. And the male, the dad, goes and hunts and gets all the mice and brings them back to her, so she can feed the babies. So it really is a team effort. Question from Charlie: did the owl and turtle get hurt? Oh, don't be sorry if we already answered. No problem. I answer the same question multiple times a day, and I love it because it means that I'm reaching people that don't know it yet. So it's really exciting to be able to offer those answers. Both of these guys, any ambassador that we have here is non-releasable. And so what happened with Artemis, our owl here, is that she was hit by a car. And unfortunately, that happens a lot. And, you know, I usually do this with, oh, raise your hand if you ever threw apple cores out of the window. So I used to throw apple cores out of the window. I have 2 kids. I'd find a French fry that's been in the car for don't know how long, or a cracker or a mum or a rice cake, you know, and I'd toss it out the window, no big deal, because I thought, you know, oh, well, it's fine. You know, I'm feeding my little rodent friends and it'll biodegrade and that sort of thing. The problem is that what happens is that that brings animals to the side of the road. So anytime you drive by a McDonald's or a Dunkin' Donuts or, you know, a Trader Joe's or anything, oh, little, you had to shake and get that water off of you. Yeah, I know. It's raining really hard out there. You got pretty wet. Sorry, Debbie. Oh, you're awful cute. You know what's in there, right? It's because you know the logo. So what happens with our predators is that when we throw food out the window on the road, it brings those animals, the prey animals, mice and things like that, to the side of the road. Good poop. Nice job. And unfortunately, the animals, the predators, start to realize that this is a really easy place for them to eat. And so unfortunately they come to the side of the road to eat, and they get struck by vehicles. It's sort of like me putting, you know, my dinner or my dining room table into, you want to come out and say hi? We can do that. Into the middle of a road, and then having people, you know, okay, yeah, you can have dinner, but you need to go and cross the road to go get it. Want me to take you off of here and we'll, oh, fierce. Are you so fierce? Yes, little miss. I love it. So unfortunately, so one thing you can do, it can be a little daunting, right? When we're trying to figure out, you know, what can we do to help wildlife? It can be overwhelming, right? So one thing you can do is to just not throw food out of your car window. And that's a great, easy way to start. And everyone can do it, right? So there you go, start today. And that will help animals like Artemis here be able to get around without being hit by cars and things like that. How every time I turn, you turn. Let me see if I can turn this for you so you guys can see her a little better. And as far as Percy in the back, let's see if I can get you, gorgeous girl. Percy came to us because someone tried to keep him as a pet, unfortunately. And because of that, he is non-releasable. So he's an absolutely magnificent turtle. We did another Facebook Live on him earlier. So if you guys want to go check him out, you can. But they are absolutely magnificent. So you won't find these guys together, really. I mean, they'll sort of share the same forests in that area and things like that. But these guys are pretty dense, coniferous little owls. You'll find them in deep, dark forests. One of my favorite stories of these guys is when hunters often will find animals and bring them to us. And that's because they're in there experiencing nature, right? They're out there, they're sitting quietly. You know, they're not trekking through the woods, they're going kind of slow. So many times when folks will have a story about seeing these guys out in the wild, it is a hunter who's been sitting in a deer stand and they're like, man, something's been watching me, and or they feel like something's watching them, and they'll turn around and there'll be this little guy right there, and they'll just be sitting in the tree staring at them, because what they do when they're nervous is they freeze. And so here you go, sweet girl, you want to step back up and I'll try and get a better picture? Yeah. Let's see, there you go, lovey-dovey. So they're very, very quiet. Most of the time, you will hear them, not see them. You'll hear them. We have a low internet connection. I haven't moved, but there it is. Danielle, we think she's pretty cute too. Elise, does this cutie sleep during the day? Yes, these guys are very nocturnal. And they're very nocturnal because they're at the bottom of the food chain. So other owls will eat this owl, if you will. It's sort of a turducken. The great horned owls eat whatever they want. And then the smaller owls, the barred owls, can eat the screech owls, and the screech owls can eat these guys. And again, they are also cavity nesters, and so they do hang out in the hollows of trees and things like that. We've had, I'm just going to readjust this again. There we go. We've had quite a few squirrels come in lately. Unfortunately, folks are doing a lot of tree work and things like that right now. It is baby season. If you are digging up, let's say we have a family of rabbits that came in because their entire area was disturbed. We've had the squirrels come in because their tree was cut down. People are trimming hedges and things like that. If you can hold off to do tree work until October, it would really be ideal. If you are doing tree work and you find an animal or a nest, we really are pushing folks to, really try to reunite the mom and the babies. Oftentimes the mom is running frantically around or calling frantically to get those babies. And so when we are, when we get calls about animals out there in the world who have been disturbed, we do try and have them reunited as often as possible. And we very much appreciate folks trying to do that. Danielle, can we see the baby squirrels maybe later? They are in the middle of feeding right now. And we actually can't be in the same room with them, with Artemis. And I need to have a mask on if I'm in feeding baby birds and around our other staff. So perhaps later on I will try and throw a mask on and get some gloves on do a Facebook Live video of us squirrel feeding. We do have one a little while back, but I'd have to check in with clinic to make sure that it's okay first. The bunnies, Beth, I'm sorry, nope. So our bunnies are super high stress, and it's very, very difficult to rehabilitate them. So I don't even ask clinic to go in and take video of them. The baby bunnies they're just super, super intense as far as being afraid. So if folks can grab pictures while they're in there, wonderful. But usually with the bunnies, you go in and out real quick and do just the best that you can. If you guys are looking for videos of baby squirrels, please do check out our YouTube channel. Wait, no, just kidding. Check out our YouTube channel if you want to see the Facebook Lives with these guys, but you can go through our videos on our Facebook page, and there are some videos of some baby squirrel feeding if you need a fix before I can get to it sometime today. Jennifer, yes, we do believe that this owl is very, very cute. So again, it's okay. Did you hear that noise? Yeah. This is Artemis, for those that just tuned in, and she is magnificent. She is just spectacular. She's an older lady, so she is geriatric. Rory, oh, thank you so much. I appreciate it very, very much. Thank you so much for coming and visiting. Jessica, how long do the baby owls stay in the nest? Not very long. You'd be surprised. It's usually only a few weeks, and then they start what's called a branchling phase. So it's prior to the fledgling phase. They're the toddlers that climb everywhere. I had one of those. He's now 10. I would find him on top of the fridge, like random places. So they do that as little owlets. So sometimes when we get them in, all it is that we have a very healthy owlet that has branched and has fallen, and someone has come to help it. And many times all we need to do is put her back up, and that sort of thing. Artemis is an adult and is non-releasable, so we won't be doing that. At least the longest I have heard of a saw-whet living out in the wild was, I believe, 9. Artemis is at least 5 or 6 that we know of. She was an adult when she came to us, so we're not sure of her exact age. But she is, as long as we can have her, we will have her. She is a really wonderful young lady, and she's just a magnificent ambassador. So we're very, very lucky to have her with us, and we're excited because we had put her into retirement, and we made her a soft-sided mesh cage that allows her to be safe inside. Oop, did you hear my hand move? Sorry, Debbie. And she's just adapted so well to that. And we put a camera on her as well so we can watch and see if she's eating. And she does do an absolutely magnificent job. So we take our cues from them and let them tell us how they're feeling. I don't know if she'll let me today. I can try and show you her ear. Can I show your ear? So many times people don't know, but see this line? I'm going to use a pencil just because I'm backwards and I don't want to hurt her. This line right here, her ear is actually right behind there. And sometimes if she's patient, she'll let me show it. Can I show? And if she's not, we just won't do it. There it is. That's that beautiful ear. Okay, yeah. I got a little beat clack. That's enough. Stop it. I'll fix those feathers for you. Thank you. That was a beautiful job. Good job. Thank you. Appreciate that. So her ears are actually really impressive too. Someone mentioned how big her eyes are. Again, her eyes take up 1/3 of her skull. So if we had eyes the size of her, we would have grapefruits for our eyeballs. These guys don't have eyeballs. They have eye rods. So they're actually long and they're set in what's called a sclerotic ring, so a bony setup. It's true, because you can't move your eyes, can you? No, you cannot. So another really cool thing, hi Pete, we miss you, about these guys is their ears. So their ears are asymmetrical, and they're not just asymmetrical by height. It's true. They're asymmetrical frontwards and backwards too. So one is up higher, one is down lower, one is a little bit more forward, and one is a little bit more back. And what that does is it allows them to triangulate their food. and their food is making noise because they're mice and rodents and things like that. So they can actually, you'll see them kind of bobbing their head and tilting their face. I don't know if I can get her to look over this way. Hi. Yeah, just a little bit. You're really focused right here. Okay. So you can see those beautiful facial discs around her face. She's not cooperating right now, but that is okay. Let me see if I can turn her a little bit. She says no. So her facial discs are the feathers around her eyes, and they can actually move those feathers to make the sound, more pinpointed, if you will, and will be, they can bring that into their ears and really triangulate. They've shown studies with owls that they can hunt in complete darkness, so they can just use their hearing. Lucky for them, they also have absolutely incredible eyesight as well. Danielle, do I have animals at home? I have lots of animals at home, no wild animals. These guys all live here at the Center for Wildlife in Cape Nettic, Maine, and they will live here for their lives. They'll live their lives out here in sanctuary because they are non-releasable. We have in the past had our saw-whet owls be foster parents, and they're wonderful, wonderful parents. No saw-whet owl babies yet this year. I'm going to knock on wood really quietly. Sorry, it was still too loud. And so it's always amazing to be able to see just how much these guys automatically know what they're supposed to do. And they're just absolutely incredible, incredible animals. Aren't you, young lady? So one of the things I really like to show, this is one of our smallest owls. So this is that teeny tiny saw-whet foot. This is how big her foot is. And then if I hold up, this is the great horned owl foot. This is the largest owl that we have in this area. So you can see the massive size difference that we have. And I think it's kind of amazing to think that they're both the same thing. They're both owls, right? And so to know that there's all these similarities, but also all these differences, I mean, that's amazing. It's just so cool. It's one of my favorite things to show. Do you hear Bertram yelling in the background? Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Another really wonderful adaptation, I mentioned it before, is that they do fly silently. I don't know if you can sort of see her now, but she's a little puffy. Want me to turn you around? Let's see. Let's get you and see. Tiny but mighty owl indeed. What do you think, little miss? Hi, Hannah. I miss you. It's nice to see you here. So there's what little miss looks like when she's looking down at you. And you see those beautiful feathers on her eyelids. Hi, Kristen in the shed. So happy to see you. Maybe I'll bring Miss Artemis out to visit you when we are done. Right now she's just relaxing. Like I said, she's been a little feisty. I think that she's building up, we all get a little hungry when it's rainy and stuff out. So she's just adorable. Let's see. Chuck, where do they migrate? Not a lot is known about their migration patterns. From what we know, they do migrate in different ways than other birds. They, instead of migrating, north to south, they tend to migrate in elevation. We've also seen a lot of them out over the oceans. And so it's very difficult to, do research on birds that are migrating over large oceans. Like I said, there was a study done. One of these guys was found on a fishing boat about 70 miles out in the Atlantic. And that's wild, These guys, they do really well around here. We have them here year round in Maine. They may move again in elevation up or down a little bit. But we do find them here year round. They just tend to disperse. Another thing that's really neat about them is that with males and females, you've heard the saying that they mate for a lifetime, which they do. Hello, Heidi's son that says hi to the owl. And I totally forgot track. It's okay. It happens. Heather, how little are they when they hatch? They're quite little. They're cute. They are maybe half her size, maybe a little bit smaller. Very fuzzy. Their eyes are closed. They're very, very tiny when they hatch. And then they turn into this funny little grumpy man owl. And they turn this beautiful chocolate brown. They still have that, facial disc. And then they have this adorable white unibrow feather thing going on. And they just look so grumpy. There's no food there. And I have to ask if you can eat. So she does like to eat like I like to eat. And she can get a little chunky like I get a little chunky. Because we like our food and there's no shame in our game, right? That's right. It's good stuff. So we have to monitor her a lot just to make sure, because just the littlest bit of food can, tip her up or tip her down. If, the weather is changing outside, they'll burn up more fat reserves and things like that to stay warm. So they're tiny but tough, and also just absolutely magnificent. Lisa, yep, they mate for life. Oh, that's what I was talking about. Yay, thank you. Brainstorm. They mate for life, but they mate for the life of the other mate, if that makes sense. So their job is to procreate and have babies. And so they have shown that they are very loyal to their nesting site, if it's a popular nesting site or a successful nesting site. And what happens is, for disbursement reasons, when it comes to food, in the wintertime, the food supply goes down, right? In the spring, there's like protein nuggets everywhere, whether it's a baby bird or a mouse or, whatever else. In the wintertime, the animals go underground. They have a harder time finding that. And so what happens is the male and female disperse and they break up. And, not break up, but they're just going to do their own thing for the season. And then when they come back in the spring, that's why they're calling. If you can listen to the calls, you can sort of hear the, hey, did you make it? Are you alive? You are? Cool. You want to have babies again? And then they'll have more babies. These guys can have anywhere, I think I read 3 to 5 eggs. 5 to 7 eggs. You're looking at probably having 3 to 5 babies that will survive out of that. But it's a tough lot in life to be able to survive as a baby raptor. So anytime, especially because they're in a cavity nesting and things like that, it can be a little tricky for them. Let's see, Elise, can she fly? She has limited flight. I did mention earlier, but I can show it again, that on these feathers, on this wing, this is a saw-whet owl wing, these are what are called primary feathers. And so these primary feathers help them to fly. And so she had some soft tissue damage to her wing when she was hit by the car. And some of these primary feathers have not grown in, or if they do grow in, they molt out kind of funny. And so she has limited flight. So we've been watching her a lot to sort of monitor how that flight is going. She's always up in her corner in her enclosure, so she can always get up there. And she's doing really, really well, but she is not fully flighted. That is for sure. Let me see if I can get, I don't know if you guys can see up close. I'm new at this. Oh, you can sort of see it. On the top of those feathers, you can see, what if I do, oops, sorry, Artemis. What if I do that? That they are, it's sort of like a fluted edge. So it looks like a comb right up here. And what that does is those feathers break up the turbulence when they're flying. And when that happens, it makes less noise. And then the rest of the noise gets soaked up by these beautiful downy feathers on her belly and things like that. Right, my lovey-dovey-do? Yeah. I would love it if you guys could comment on, we are looking at extending our morning meeting. We really love it. We love joining you. We love talking with you. We love answering your questions. And we'd also love to hear what you guys would like to learn about. And whether that is, re-nesting, if you want to see how food is prepared for our patients, things like that. If you'd comment in the comment section, that would be absolutely amazing, because it helps us bring you what you want to hear about. We could do a virtual bird walk. We could do, oh, Heather, thank you so much for donating. That's so helpful. We really appreciate it. Baby squirrels are very mad in the other room. They're done feeding, but they're still talking to everyone out there. Our squirrels have been a little feisty this season, huh, Miss, little Miss. Oh, I should say why we named her Artemis. Artemis is the goddess of the hunt. And so Diana is also the other name for that. And how food is prepped. Okay, cool. So it's kind of fun to think of this little teeny tiny owl as a goddess of the hunt, but she is. Chuck, do they eat live food or dead food? Our both-ish, in that our reptiles get things like mealworms and things like that that are alive, but any raptor does not receive live food unless they're being prepped for being released. Brendan, can I feed her right now? I can't. She is on a pretty strict diet. She likes her food like I do. And let's see. Oh, releases. Xander, that's a really good idea. Donna, how enrichment is set up. Very, very cool. Elise, anything and everything. Excellent. Thank you guys so much for letting us know what you want to see and learn about. It's so funny because we're still extending this. So, oh, Christopher, you sponsored her. Wonderful. Congratulations. That's amazing. Right, Heather? Girl, there is no shame in loving your food. And we are right there with you. And it is, I hear you. She is available for sponsorship. So we do have a wonderful program. It's called the Adopt an Ambassador program. And it's just $25 for the whole year. You can go online to our website, www.thecenterforwildlife.org. You go under the education tab and find, Adopt an Ambassador. For $25, you get a card that has their picture on it. It has their natural history as well as their personal history. And then you know that you've been able to help support their care. It's also a great thing to get in snail mail these days. It's so funny. I was just discussing with a friend of mine, the importance of snail mail. Jackie, thank you so much for donating. That's absolutely phenomenal. So helpful. So I personally love getting snail mail. I love getting cards. I don't like getting bills, but nobody does. We love getting thank you cards here. We love getting letters. We love getting pictures. We love getting, anything like that. It just feels special when someone sends you something. It takes more than just a click to do it. There's that human aspect to it. And so the, the Adopt an Ambassadors are really lovely because you get something in the mail. And then I've told this story a million times, but it's one of my favorite stories. We have a grandma who does them for all her grandkids, and they're not just Adopt an Ambassadors, but they're also experience gifts. So they get the Adopt an Ambassador, but then each grandchild will come up with the grandma on a separate time to come and visit the ambassador that they sponsored, which is really cool. And you can sponsor, if you know someone that vultures are their jam, adopt Violet for them. It's just kind of a fun thing to do. Let's see. I have a couple questions I just want to get in there. Do you know? Karen, I can only read the beginning. Oh, wait. Before they're... Do you know how old before they're brooding successfully? Pretty much immediately if it's going to be re-nesting. If it's going to be successful or not. They don't mess around. If they're going to kick the baby out, they're going to kick the baby out again. So for instance, the great horn that we re-nested the other day, or the spot that we found, we'll know right away if they accept. And then our younger one that we have right now is still being stabilized. Is the outdoor area open to come and see the animals, Rose? Yes. And especially at our new facility, we will have a whole outdoor facility for people to come and see you guys, Our patients are not on display. It's just not best practice. You wouldn't go into a hospital and visit the patients and take their pictures and things like that. And that's what we are. We're a wildlife hospital. And so folks can come and see our ambassador animals. They're very used to seeing people. Dante, our crow, Bertram, our raven, really miss seeing people right now. However, you can't see the patients, right? Because we're just big giant predators to them. Oh, Artemis, how did you get so lovely? For those of you, too, that may have just tuned in, she weighs about as much as a small lime. So if you happen to have a small lime in your fridge, you can go grab it and hold it and be like, this is a pretty light owl. And you can also pick up a jar. Oops, sorry, that was me. I hit that. a jar of spice. And that's about how much she weighs too, which is kind of fascinating to think of. Oh, Rose, thank you so much for donating. That is so helpful. Oh, and again, I had someone ask me about my shirt. This is, let's see, it's a little saw wet owl. And this is from Portsmouth Brewery. We love Portsmouth Brewery. They're longtime supporters and just stellar human beings. So go to their website, just the Portsmouth Brewery, and see what they have for really cool shirts and things. I think they have a bluebird and a duck and things. They're just magnificent. And a lovely local business to support. It's been amazing, and we're very humbled by the amount of people that have come together to just support each other. And it's just lovely. Bernadette, oh, you visit every year, and thank you. Oh, you're very welcome, Bernadette. I love it. I'm so glad. We're falling. It's that kind of day, guys. I've dropped everything today. Let's see, what are you doing? What are you doing? We miss having you guys up here, and one day when everything is safe again, we will be open again, and we will look forward to seeing folks up here, and we appreciate that everyone is being patient and understanding about keeping everyone safe, including our loved ones, your loved ones, and our ambassadors. Jackie, what kind of calls do these ones make? So they're called the Northern Saw Wet Owl because their call supposedly mimics the sound of a saw being sharpened on a whetstone. If they were to be discovered right now, you'd probably call them a car alarm owl because they kind of go boop, 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 boop. And that's it. It's this teeny tiny, it's so dainty. It's really lovely. Chuck has asked if we've ever had any snowy owl patients. We have had snowy owl patients. And someone else earlier asked if we had had great gray owls. Great gray owls we very rarely see. I personally have never had a great gray owl here when I've been here. The snowies we have had in here, they're like a cat. They're really interesting birds to work with. And they're intense to work with, to say the least. There's something about them that people are just enamored with, and it must be the ferocity of their stare or things like that. But folks do love their snowies. Huh, Miss Artemis? What do you think? Should we sign off so that I can go finish and do another Zoom meeting and all these other things? Okay, and then we can check to see if you can have a little breakfast. So thank you guys again so much for tuning in. Thank you so much for donating. It makes a huge difference to us and helps us keep our doors open. And we look forward to taking your ideas of what you'd like to see and what you'd like to learn about. And then we look forward to just riding all of this out with you guys. And we really appreciate your support and you tuning in. And we look forward to seeing you tomorrow. All right. Bye, guys. Ooh, how do I stop?